New at 11 o'clock, CBS 46 investigates the problem that allowed a man to die of an opioid overdose. Now, he didn't get the pills from a dealer on a street corner. He got them after his wife died of cancer.
The pills were hers. His sister wants her state lawmakers to make sure what happened to her brother never happens again. She talked to our Haley Mason in a story you're only going to see on CBS 46.
What happens to those high-strength opioids when the patient they were prescribed for dies? Well, one family says those drugs left behind led them to losing 2 family members, one to cancer, the other to the opioids meant to treat it. Jenna Kopp is on a mission to make a difference.
He was very bright.
In the name of her brother Ben.
A lot of people didn't know how to take him, but he was really very funny.
The shy computer engineer kept to himself mostly, but he and Jenna were very close.
My parents actually held him back a year in school so that they could start the 2 of us together in school, so that he could more or less be my protector, I guess.
But Jenna would find herself the protector as she learned Ben was battling depression and alcohol addiction.
This was he and his wife.
His depression turned to devastation when his soulmate Jean was diagnosed with stage 4 brain and bladder cancer. After 3 short months, Jean lost her fight with cancer, and Ben was losing his against alcohol.
He went into a downhill spiral.
And a new temptation, painkillers for Jean that were left behind.
He was strictly grieving at that point. That was what he was doing, grieving and drinking.
And now he's grieving, drinking, and has access to opioids.
From her home in Decula, Jenna tried everything to intervene.
This is all of his medical records.
Courts and doctors. Nothing worked. Afraid her worst fears had come true, Jenna broke into her brother's home. But it was too late.
And I ran over to him, and I grabbed him, and I just pulled his body up to me, and I hugged him, and I started screaming.
For weeks, Jenna sat shocked and confused, thinking alcohol had taken her brother, until his death certificate showed this.
He died from morphine toxicity, and we know it had to have been his wife's morphine. Why were those left in the house? Why were they left there? Why didn't somebody see that these medications got collected?
That thought would launch her own personal movement. Turning her pain into purpose, Jenna came here to the state capitol to meet her representative. She's determined to keep prescription opioids out of the wrong hands.
My heart went out to her and what she had dealt with. I was interested in legislative solutions. Ultimately, 2 bills were introduced this legislative session.
The most central bill limits opioid abuse like Ben's by allowing hospice workers to take back prescription drugs after a patient dies.
This is just a first step.
Already, Jenna's efforts are being applauded. At its annual breakfast, care and treatment centers recognized Jenna as an unsung hero.
Unfortunately, it took his life to make a difference. I know I can't bring my brother back, but if I can keep one more person from going through what we went through, then I will know that his death was not in vain.
It's been 2 years since Ben passed. Jenna calls the current legal avenues that should have helped her brother a complete system failure. You can read more about her efforts to fix the system on our web story, and we'll also update you on the bills as they move through the state legislature. I'm Haley Mason for CBS 46 News.